What's up, YouTube? It's Rich, back with another video for you guys today. It's a beautiful Saturday, currently fall setting in. We're pretty deep into this wipe, things are looking pretty good, and you might be asking yourself what to do, or what you should be doing, or what everyone else is doing this late into wipe. So, hopefully this video is for you, and hopefully you enjoy, guys. First off, let me say thank you for the love and support on all the videos and subscribers on the channel. This has been absolutely amazing to see all the love and growth on any of my videos, and support is always so grateful for it. So thank you for that. If you enjoy the content and want to help share it and spread it, a like always goes a million ways because it'll always help in the algorithm, put the video out for more people to see it. So if it helps you, drop a like. Hopefully it'll help somebody else as well. And a sub is just going to be subtacular, okay? That being said, everything is just about in place over in the Twitch channel. So if you want to catch some of my live streams over there, those are going to be resuming probably starting either Monday or Sunday. I'm not sure. I think I'm going to start them on Monday. But head on over to twitch.tv/OneShotRich if you want to catch that. If you hope to catch me live over there, if you want to show some love and support over in the live streams as well, if you enjoy my my YouTube videos. So without any further ado, I want to say thank you for all the love, guys. Once again, let's get into the video. Let's talk about some things that we should be doing late in wipe, or some of my recommendations, if you will, and maybe they can, you know, put them into your gameplay and your methods of doing things this late into wipe. Your experienced players might find the pacing of the game changes a lot towards the later half of the wipe. That is due to the fall off of the influx of players that all hop in early wipe and might fizzle out due to being bored or just not being happy. Those who don't enjoy the game, or maybe they feel satisfied with what they achieved this wipe. That's why the raids sometimes may feel like they're not as active, or a little bit less active, or the types of players you run into it are a little bit more different, much more of the higher level players instead of lower level players, people playing for the wipe for a little bit. So all those things come into factor into it when you're talking about if you're hopping into the game now, or if you're playing it now, and the type of players you're seeing out on the field or on the map. Hopefully this little guide will present you with some options of what to do to keep yourself entertained or focus on a goal, or if you just want to have some fun in Tarkov late wipe, which is kind of what I'm doing right now. I'm kind of going just for fun and PvPing and playing with my friends, and I've been enjoying it, and it has made it super duper enjoyable. But with that being said, first thing I want to address in this video are the new players, because they deserve some love. Some of the newbies that are trying to get into the wipe now. If you're a new player hoping to play some Escape from Tarkov and feel like you missed out on the early wipe shenanigans and feel behind the curve, don't worry about that, because while yes, you might feel a little bit undergeared, and while you might be a little bit undergeared and low on ruble count, that doesn't mean you can't get valuable experience and still have a really fun time doing it, okay? And so there's a lot to learn here as a new player. If you're starting to wipe later in the wipe, middle of the wipe, towards the end of the wipe, it doesn't matter when you start. Starting the game is always a good time. There's no right time to start it, okay? Just get that out of your head, because I feel like a lot of people say that, hey, if you're gonna start the game, start on a new wipe. No, you can learn a lot of stuff if you start whenever you start, okay? As a beginner, the first things you want to do is want to get map knowledge under your belt. So start playing some of those beginner maps like Woods or Customs. I have a map guide out for some of the best beginner maps on Tarkov. I'll link that down below in the description. But map knowledge is super big and making you feel much more comfortable with the game. So definitely the most important thing as a newbie coming into the game, learn some map knowledge. Next up, be prepared to honestly lose most of your gunfights early on. So two things to help avoid that are going to be, one, entering into practice mode against scavs and learn some of the basics and weapon mechanics and how they play in the recoil and stuff like that. And just PvE offline, that's a really good mode to practice and get some of the basic feels for the game. Number two is probably avoid firefights early on to give yourself the best survivability and lengthen the lifespan of your gear, because you don't have a lot of money and you don't have a lot of gear. So avoiding fights and avoiding PvP is probably the best thing you should be doing, but just play it as you will, take it as you want to. Obviously, I don't want to tell you how to play the game, but those are my two recommendations on how to make yourself survive better and feel like you learn a little bit better. Take the time to learn the game. Right now, if you're later in the wipe, don't beat yourself up over being behind. It's a video game, okay? Play it at your own pace. Don't compare yourself to others. Don't compare yourself to me, to other friends you might have. Play the game at your pace and the way you enjoy it, because it is a video game at the end of the day that you have spent your own money on. So by next wipe, you'll, if you've played all these things and put all these things into your perspective, into the way you play the game, you'll be ready to stomp on some chads, and you'll be a lot more advanced, and you'll take advantage into early wipe, as far as instead of jumping into early wipe as a completely fresh player not knowing what's going on, you're going to have some of the mechanics down for the game, and you'll keep learning as time goes on. So that's for my new players. I wanted to address that, because if you're a new player trying to figure out what to do later in wipe, if I should play, that hopefully answers that for you. Now moving on, for more seasoned players who are finding themselves a little lost in late wipe, here are some really fun, enjoyable things to do to keep yourself entertained and still increase your skill ceiling. So these are things that I would try and implement in my gameplay, but also I recommend to try and to implement in your gameplay. That might help you out. Let me know what you guys do later in wipe. I want to know down below in the comments, because obviously we can always share a bunch of ideas, and brainstorming together is great. So number one, practice with different practice with different guns, early wipe guns in specific. It might seem silly and a silly way to lose rubles and gears, but really you should only be doing this if you have a lot of ruble to spare, okay? If you think about it this way, okay, what better way is it to improve your early wipe mechanics than to fight against higher level players with better gear? So when next wipe rolls around, you'll be really comfortable with that gear against equally geared or even less geared players. That's a really good mechanic, something that's, I think, undervalued, and I think it's super helpful that if you try that out, maybe, I'm not saying do that the entire night you play, maybe a raid or two, try out some basic beginner gear, and you can actually learn a lot more with some of the mechanics of the game with that. Number 2, try different maps outside your comfort zone. I know Gear Fear will keep you in a comfort zone of a map you know really well. For me, it used to be Customs a few wipes ago. Felt like I exclusively played that map. Over the last few wipes, expanding and getting more and more comfortable with more maps has really heightened my game ability and my mechanics much more than I had thought. Branch out of your comfort zone. If you're having a rough day on the game, you can always fall back to that comfort map you have, but branching out and trying different new maps will help you out and help your game sense and help you feel much more comfortable with the game. So that's my number 2 tip. Number 3, I'd say go for Kappa, but I think it's a little bit better to dive into that a little bit deeper. A better thing I would do is push for quests you've never done before or quest lines you've never reached before. I know this wipe I've set myself a goal of unlocking the Lightkeeper quest line and go from there. Maybe for you can set yourself a goal like for completing the Punisher quest line or Shooter Born in Heaven, which is also much easier this wipe, by the way, because I definitely think setting a quest goal is something that can keep you coming back to the game and grinding and focusing on keeping things fresh for you. Those 3 things for me are things that I'd recommend doing later in the wipe right now. I know that there is a lot of stuff going on with the game about PvP changes, balancing changes, but this is a really good basis of stuff like that. If anything changes with PvP or any changes happen to the game, I'll put out a video for that as soon as it comes out. I want to have a video coming out next week, guys, for just discussing Escape from Tarkov Arena, and then I also want to have a video coming out for the armor changes, so the armor hitboxes that are changing in December. And at some point next week, I'll have some Modern Warfare 3 beta gameplay for you guys, so if you want to check that out, make sure you drop a like and sub. But other than that, guys, that about wraps it up. Hope those tips and recommendations help you out in finding what you do and later wipe, because I'm still loving to wipe. I'm enjoying it every day, like I said earlier. But I want to know what your guys' thoughts are so far on this wipe. What are you guys doing? What are you guys, how is your wipe going? Things like that. But I just wanted to share that with you guys. And once again, thank you for taking time out of your day to watch my video. If you enjoyed it, drop a like. If not, a dislike. Sub to the channel if you want to see some really good upcoming content and stuff like that. If you just want to sub to the channel if you want to see some, good upcoming content. If you want to just support a smaller streamer, that always goes a super long way, guys. And I can never say thank you enough. But hopefully this video helped you out. And if it did, I'm glad. Have a great day, guys. Peace.